Good evening. What's today? June the 10th, 2023. We're obviously going to touch on that, whatever that was last night, but welcome to the show. Let's talk about it. Hello, and welcome to the Couch Captain Podcast. I'm Jeff. I'm your host. He's Parker. He's Fonzi. He's Murphy. We're Murph. He's just hanging out. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the show. It's been a couple weeks since we hung out, so we're going to start things off right with a nice little sip of whatever you're drinking on tonight. Welcome to the show, everyone. Shout out to Streaming Star Wars Network, my boys Nick and Pete, and Chris. Anyway, so yeah. I mean, there's not much to say about whatever that was last night.
Did anybody watch it all the way through?
No, all the way through the middle of the second quarter. Yes.
No.
I made it to the half, and that was it.
Third quarter and started watching Lord of the Rings. If that makes you feel any better.
Much better.
Well, that's a
much better choice.
That's a win too. I mean, you could really do that for just about any situation. I broke the algorithm down pretty simple to Fonzi a little while ago. They showed the recruiting class rankings on TV earlier for the last 4 years, and TCU was in the high 40s, low 50s, and Georgia was in the top 3. I was like, well, there you have it. So that solved that problem. So from now on, the committee's got to look at recruiting rankings when they're doing these matchups, because it really just was pretty obvious. Georgia just had way better players.
Really bad. Really bad.
50-something points worth.
A shame for college football, honestly, too.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Do y'all want to know how many total rush yards they had?
Who?
TCU last night. You know how many rush yards they had?
Less than 20.
They had
36.
Yes, on 28 attempts. They had 36 yards total.
They had 25 in the first quarter.
Well, Max Duggan had a nice negative 38 yards in these rounds. So
they count sacks as rushing yards now,
brought
don't
that
they?
number down quite a
In
bit.
college.
Don't
Yes.
they count sacks as rushing yards now?
Yes, they do.
In college, right? Not in NFL.
Yeah,
Not
so
in
that's
NFL.
why. Oh, they don't do that in the NFL? I don't remember.
So how they played, I mean, Duggan, we already know what we saw on TV, but he went 14 for 22, 152, 2 interceptions, team rush yards, as I already said, 28 attempts, 36 yards. That's about it, guys. That is about the stats that we have. I looked everything and tried to find other stuff for TCU to write down, but that's it.
No, see, this is all Michigan's fault because Michigan sucks. This is all their fault. TCU was never even supposed to be there because they knew Michigan would wax them. They're like, we'll just grease them in, play them against Michigan. Michigan will blow them out, whatever, be like Cincinnati. And Michigan spit the bit. And because of them, TCU got hung out in that game. They had no business being in that game. They had no business. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew it.
Michigan
all the
was head and
TCU
shoulders.
fans leaving too at halftime. That was so sad.
I mean, God.
Y'all wanted to be, hey, y'all
Their
wanted to
coach
play
was
with the big
hopeful.
boys.
Yeah,
I wanna play with the big
TCU's
boys.
coach, though, give him credit. He was very helpful. His little halftime spiel. We just got to get something going. We got to find something. Like, we'll be okay.
Something going.
You
Any minute now.
That's all they got to do. It's that simple.
You know what you got to get going? The airplane. Get it warmed up. Get the heck out of there because you weren't going to
Get on the bus.
Get on the
Go
bus and
home.
get going, buddy, because it ain't stopping. You need to go.
I mean, Dyke should have come out and just waved it, like Coach Taylor did in Friday Night Lights, season 4, when the first game they were getting beat so bad he called it at halftime. He should have just said, "Look, man, we're gonna catch this early flight, trying to get on back to the house."
Forget about this one.
He's like, man.
My favorite is when Georgia would score a touchdown, though, that didn't even involve Bennett, and the camera would still just cut to him because they couldn't get enough
on the sidelines pumping his arm and stuff.
Yeah.
Has,
Like,
has anybody heard the Stetson Bennett story yet? You guys know his story yet?
You know he was a walk-on?
You guys know he's a walk-on?
Coming soon to Disney Plus.
I mean, in his spare time, Bennett's the president of the United States, by the way.
Could be a U.S. senator, and we'd never know.
I mean,
We need to find his actual.
With my buddy, I was like, does he have to do you have to take a personal day of work? Playing that game last night, did his job okay? Like, did he get PTO approved to have a day off work?
Did he apply for 401k yet?
Hey,
I thought he was going to leave at halftime and be like, yo, coach, is it cool if I dip early? You know, I got to get the kids to school in the morning.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, I know you'll love this comment. You know what? After his illustrious football career, if he goes into the NFL, if not, I tell you what, he'll make a hell. Hey, he'll make a hell of a insurance salesman. I can tell you that.
Just don't ask him to pay for dinner.
But stats for that, with all that great stuff, Stetson, he went 18 for 25, 304, 4 TDs. Team rush yards, I didn't really pick a specific player, obviously, because it says team. 44 attempts, 250 yards on the ground. Receiving, your two leading receivers are Brock Bowers, 7 receptions, 152 yards, 1 TD. And Lad McConkey, 5 receptions, 88 yards, 2 TDs. And their defensive player, I would say, award goes to, obviously, their entire defensive line, front 7. And Bullard, I'm not very familiar with him, but he had 2 interceptions. So,
dude, is it a shame that Brock Bowers has to play college football next year?
Yeah.
And Lad McConkey, that dude could line up at slot for the Patriots right now.
Look, Brock Bowers is like the 4th best tight end in the NFL right now.
I know.
He's a freak.
He's a real deal.
As a sophomore in college. I'm taking him 2nd round in fantasy his rookie year if he's available. I'm just telling you. That guy's a freak.
I would.
The guy is a freak. I mean, watching him run around last night was like, this is not even fair. They should force Bowers. You can't play anymore. Okay, look, here's the deal, pal. We get it. Now you can't play anymore. McConkey too. Like you can't run by these guys like they're sitting still anymore. That's enough. You got to go sit down. We get it. Like move along. I'm over it. And all that BS after the game where he was like, yeah, everybody doubted us all year. What?
Who said that?
Yeah,
I'm still waiting on who said that.
Kirby said that. Even
Kirby.
I think Stetson said that. Nobody expected us to be here or something. I'm like, you were third
They
in the
all did.
preseason and number 1 for 90% of the season.
Kirby could be a dictator of a small South American country with all the propaganda he's feeding them all year.
He's like the Michael Jordan of
Because they
motivators.
believed it. They believed
Yeah.
people were doubting them.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's like the Jordan of motivators. I mean, he just makes up stuff to motivate, and then off they go. Because that was a trashing. So anyway, that's all you can say about that. Look at the recruiting rankings, and then you'll know. Take that junk to Vegas. Next game, check out recruiting rankings. Go straight to Vegas. But I was of the opinion that by the end of the season, my BAM colored glasses that Alabama would have put up a bigger fight in a playoff game. I mean, it would have been
Almost any other SEC team would have put up a
well.
better.
Having Bryce Young in the playoffs would have been box office, and you should always go box office. Like, how many people turned that game off last night? Everyone. All right. If that's Bryce Young in that game, you're watching that game.
It's him against Georgia. Yeah.
I mean,
Or Alabama
seriously,
against
it's
Georgia.
like always go box office, people. Always go box office.
Jeff, I think you said earlier, actually at work, and you said anybody other than TCU getting in. Let's say this. Let's say not Bama. Let's say we'll be realist here. Not Bama. I would have rather had USC or Tennessee
Yeah, a
in
Tennessee
the playoff. I wouldn't have honestly. Other than that, it would have been good. Those would have been fine picks.
And USC would have been better. Caleb Williams in the playoffs would have been better. Yeah, they should have bumped Michigan out. They should have had Caleb, Bryce, Stroud, and little Stetson Bennett in the playoffs. That would have been box office. Boom. There's your ticket sales. There's your ratings.
Mm.
But whatever. We lost 2 games that we
So
shouldn't
be
have lost. We were 2 touchdown favorite because LSU lost that game. Everybody knows how the Tennessee game went, so it's our own fault. And the crooked refs of the Tennessee game. But hey, who remembers that? But I like the Sugar Bowl performance. That was what you should have done to a team like that was clearly inferior from the go. You bust them up, move along. That's exactly what – I mean, I was a little surprised because, our previous meaningless Sugar Bowl performances have been a little different than that.
A little lackluster, I would say.
This one was what they should have done to a team like that.
It took them a minute to wake up.
Yeah. Well, they had 6 weeks off. For some reason, there's 6-week gap between games and the bowl games. So everybody's rusty in their first, the first half of their first game back. So.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, but, that dime Bryce dropped in the back corner of the end zone, I was like, he didn't have to say nothing about, declaring for the draft. That was his declaration for the draft was that dime right there. I mean, there was no question after that.
Yeah, he went out with a bang, I'd say. Bryce went 15-21, 321 yards, 5 TDs. So that's pretty stout way to end your college career, I would say.
45-20 whipping.
Pretty good.
In spite, yeah.
Did pretty well.
I would have liked to have seen him in the playoffs. I think that the 2-loss Alabama team is better than a 1-loss TCU team. That's just my opinion.
Oh, and that one
felt that way
that TCU
way
had
before that game last night. So
yeah, that one loss that TCU had, the team that Alabama steamrolled.
So I mean, whatever. It's everybody's laughing at the BAMs because we normally get the benefit of the doubt or we normally get the breaks, and then we didn't get it this year. So everybody's having to hear us piss and moan about it. Deal with it. We're doing it.
We'll be back next year.
Yeah.
So
sorry, messing with my camera. Hang on. Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe Joyless and Pollock saying that thing on TV last night, like right next to Saban. I was like, wow, that just got us 2 more rings right there.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
that was the dumbest thing he could have said.
That was hysterical.
You got to at least keep it on like 1090 AM or something. Keep it on AM radio. Somewhere Sam won't hear it because that is going right up on the bulletin board. But,
I love it. Keep doubting the guy. They said he was done and he was assigned the one of the best classes of all time. So
it's coming. It's coming. A reckoning.
The reckoning. Yeah, the reckoning is coming. That's for sure. I hope. I said that last year at this time when we lost to Georgia. I said, joyless murder ball coming next year. Don't you worry, fellas. But
Bill O'Brien still had a
factor
job.
in the Pete Golding factor of, running the same defensive play, leaving the same holes open on every play. It's fine. We'll get into that. But anyway, so so what did you want to talk about, Parker? I know you had something on your mind.
Is he frozen?
Uh-oh, he might be frozen.
Yeah.
Or he's really good at being still.
Method
That is
acting.
impressive.
He's a method actor. That's it. All right. So while we work on Parker getting back, so did you guys watch any of the other bowl games? I was in a little bowl contest. Watched a few, but
Not really.
I didn't watch
Pretty
many.
much all the New Year's Six stuff.
Yeah.
Outside of
Yeah.
USC, I actually didn't see. Didn't see that game. Which
I watched a little bit of that game.
Because that game was crazy.
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of Clemson, Tennessee. Couldn't care less who won.
Yeah, that was a tough one to watch.
Yeah. FSU's was pretty good.
That was back
Oh,
in
the
quarterback
Cheez-It
game,
Bowl?
right? Because both
Yeah.
the
That was
backups
actually a
were
bowl
in.
game. I'm not gonna lie.
Or no, not the Cheez-It Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's right. Because Ugalagalele is gone. and what's his name was hurt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hooker was hurt, so that sucks too. I would have liked to see Tennessee make a run with Hendon, Hooker playing. They had something going with him, so
Another 30-year-old.
that's the trick. Saban needs to quit, hitting the portal for these guys still in college, man. Like Brady got some eligibility left. I'm sure he'd be great if he came back to college for a year.
Come get your master's in gender studies.
That'd be awesome, dude. They just blew that rule up and said, "Hey, man, so everybody can just come back, like wrap up their career playing for their college, like 1 year for their college."
Aaron Rodgers, he's basically in squirt mode. Just come down to
He got like Aaron Rodgers next year, plays for Cal, just
he
to
couldn't care less about the Packers.
just to wrap up his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Both the semifinals were great, though. I will say that
the
TCU gave me hope for a second that they might put up a fight. The closer I got to game time, though, the more I just felt this is going to be bad.
Yeah.
That's that stinking Michigan. That stinking Michigan is what that was. That stinking Wolverines. You and them khaki pants. You see? I'm sick of you.
Makes you wonder if Ohio State had won, though, and didn't shank that field goal. Like, would have been more interesting.
That would look like Mike Vanderjack for the Colts, Fonz, that field goal did, man. He hooked that sucker into the parking lot.
That was brutal. And it was right at midnight, too. So I switched it over because my parents wanted to see, like, the ball drop. We watched the ball drop, and we switched it back, and Stetson Bennett was, like, running on the field with his hands up. And I was like,
yeah.
He did it. He hooked it.
And then I saw the replay, and I was like, oh, my God. And he nailed his practice one, too.
Man, he went Vanderjack on that one, dude. That's all I thought about.
They didn't even ice him that well. Like, they called the timeout, but they called it right before. Like, yeah, Georgia didn't win that game. Ohio State lost it.
Yeah, I
agree.
I would agree with that. Well, losing their best receiver, that sounds familiar.
Yeah,
that killed them.
I mean, where have I seen that? Where have I seen that movie before? Whatever. Georgia got to play TCU for the national championship.
That game, I'm sorry, I don't like throwing around like Mickey Mouse Championship or anything like that. But that deserves an asterisk.
It really does.
Asterisk.
I mean, it does. Oh I don't know. This is veering off for a second, though, but I don't know where you were, Fonzie, there for that game against the Colts when Vanderjack ripped that field goal. I don't know how old you were then.
I was young. I vaguely remember it.
Yeah. I was in a restaurant watching that junk with a bunch of Steeler fans, literally sitting under the table because I couldn't watch it. Going from the high of being first and goal on the 1 yard line, just hand it to the bus to go in. And then he coughs it up. And Colts are going the other way, tackles him. And they're lining up for a field goal to win the game. Like, that's as high to low as quick as I've gone ever. Back up to high again. I mean, it was nuts.
Was that was 05, right?
Yes, that was the first Super Bowl, the Seahawks Super Bowl year.
Yeah, because that's like that's the first season I remember actually paying attention to football. So it's actually pretty vivid now that I remember. I remember that exact moment because I was at my aunt's.
Nuts.
But
that was nuts. And he's back.
Sorry, guys, a little technical difficulties.
It's all right, buddy.
Technical difficulties.
Oh, the old Wi-Fi go out. You love it. Love it. Everybody's juicing the Wi-Fi tonight. That's great.
Love some Wi-Fi. Hey, Mom. Yeah, I have to run hardwire into my machine running this. I tried doing Wi-Fi once with a friend when I was doing some test stuff, and it was a crap show. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to run a 50-foot Ethernet cable from the back room all the way into the living room.
Well, I mean, I would think that might work. There's an Ethernet thing here in the wall,
Can
but
I hear
I
you?
don't even think it's connected. Oops, sorry. Can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Is that better? Sorry, there's an Ethernet port in the wall over here, but I have no idea if it's connected to the actual router or modem in the other room. So your guess is as good as mine.
We'll have to wire it up. Yeah, we'll have to wire it up.
Oh.
So, this is something else I wanted to talk about. Hang on.
Oh, Lord.
What is this? This is pure blasphemy.
It's
This
really
is
bad.
blasphemous.
Represent Trojans. Let's go.
Don't you love that these writers and reporters can put in their final top 25 before any of the playoff games are even played? I spoke with Jeff about this earlier. This is a hot
I know
topic.
some of them turn them in before the championship game. I don't know about before all the playoff games, but I know some of them turn them in before the championship and they have to.
Mm-hmm.
This can only be the only explanation. Look at this. Number one, obviously. Number two, lost 2 out of 3 games, went up a place because they were third. They moved up a spot by losing 2 out of 3 games. Michigan lost, so they dropped. Ohio State lost 2 games in a row. They didn't move an inch. Like, these games not matter anymore?
Well, TCU, I know for a fact, at least got 1 vote like a week before the championship. A guy like tweeted about it. He's a voter. He tweeted he voted TCU second for like this reason and that reason or whatever before he even saw them play Georgia.
What?
I mean, I'm shocked they're honestly above like 6 or 7 after that. Like,
they should be out of the top 25 after that performance yesterday.
Yeah, I mean,
if Alabama had lost like that, trust me, we're out of the top 10. I said the top 5, but out of the top 10 now. I've changed my mind.
If you play for the national championship and your opponent is ordering wings on the sideline in the second half, you are out of the top 25 and you're banished forever. You're not allowed back in. Like Pete Rose, you're out. You might as well have gambled on the game because you're out. 65-7 in a championship game. The guys were eating wings on the sideline. It's like how much time left in the game, they're eating wings. They're ordered freaking wings. I'm like, what?
But TCU's QB scraped his elbows a lot. That's
they mentioned that in the first play. Blood flowing from his elbows again. The guy's a warrior. 38-7 before I even get back from making my drink.
Remember, he came in second in the Heisman, everybody. Just remember that.
He had a great year. Give him that.
Who the hell did he play?
Last night was an embarrassment.
Last night was an embarrassment.
Say what you want. I mean, last night tainted their incredible season.
Yes.
Max Duggan is the only reason they were there to begin with. That dude absolutely deserved every Heisman vote he got.
Yeah. The guy's
Let's stand by it. Even if you watched him last night, they didn't even give him an opportunity to play like Max Duggan because they were in the backfield before the ball was even snapped.
And it was 31-7 before you even got comfortable. So already you're done. You're out of your game. You're done.
Yeah. So say what you want about TCU and Max Duggan, but I love him.
Oh man, my boy Steve. What's up, dude? It's been a while. Say what's up to my man Steve. What's up, dude?
Steve.
Good to see you, Steve. Thanks for tuning in, man. Yes, eat wings. You're out. You're banished. You're banned, like Joe in Seinfeld when he banned Kramer from the fruit store. You're banned.
You cannot come back here.
So, I mean, that was pathetic. But this final top 25 is a sham. This is a total sham. I'm not saying that Alabama should be ranked higher. I'm not saying it because of that. But I'm just looking at all these top 4 teams that have 2 out of 3 losses, 2 losses in a row. Get out of here. Like, you can't lose 2 games in a row and hold on to your ranking. You can't lose 2 out of 3 games and move up a spot. It's BS. Even Tennessee should be pissed because they beat us and they're below us. So they should even be pissed. They have a right to be pissed.
I was talking to Jeff earlier at work about this, and love your feedback. Sorry. Coughed earlier and I'm trying to get my voice back now. Goodness. So back in the day, I feel like it was back maybe in the 70s or 80s. Nobody voted on the final rankings until after the championship game, whatever it was. After the championship game, I remember back in like the 80s, it was Miami and Nebraska playing, and Nebraska was number 1 and Miami was like number 3 in the nation. I know that was all voter back then, how that people got in, but I think the final rankings for the season, we should go back to that idea until the very end, until the last play is played, until the final snap of the game. Then you know, and then you can. I mean, hey, we might have been 7th. Or we might have been 6th, and Tennessee might have jumped us. I don't care. I just want some transparency. I can't talk today, but I need some consistency more so too, because this and I think that will change next year. Next year is the last year of the 4-team playoff.
Oh, is it next year too?
Yeah, it's that next year, or I'm sorry, the 23 season. Is next year. Is it go all the way to 24 too?
I thought 12 was going in next year.
No, one more year of it. One more year of the 4-team playoff. It starts 2024 is 12-team.
Dang.
So one more time, but I can tell you this.
Why are they waiting a year? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Parker. Sorry.
Oh, you're good, brother. You're good. And I don't know. We'll have to call up one of the committee members one of these days, and we can ask them directly.
No, right.
Why did you wait? Why could we not implement this immediately?
Can he be a guest on the podcast?
Hey, you take anybody. Anybody wants to be a guest on the show. Yeah, anybody.
But I don't know. I mean, I think next year should be the best year, and obviously it's the final, but best year of the 4 team. They've got one last chance to get it right for that aspect. But then again, the points mute. It's going to 12. Who cares, right? So.
I mean, I will say, I don't think they necessarily got it wrong this year. The seeding sucked. Seeding wasn't good. But they probably put the 4 teams that should have been there in there.
No, they shouldn't.
And it backfired.
They should have had the best player in college football should have been in the playoffs.
I mean, we're Bama fans. I get it.
Right. I say that fully aware of my Bama colored glasses.
I would not. I would say I would have, if looking at the rankings right here, Tennessee beat us. They should have gone ahead of us if it was for that.
No, they shouldn't have. They lost to South Carolina.
They lost to South Carolina by 25.
Give up 60 points to South Carolina.
Thing is the ending was so.
You're out too. If you lose by 50 to South Carolina, you're out. What was the score of that game? 50 something, 20 something,
63-38.
Right, 63 points you gave up. You're out.
I keep forgetting about that. Dang.
Yep, yeah, the like, I'm sorry, 63. You said
easy.
You're gone.
LSU was the one that really hurt.
LSU was bullcrap.
That was in its
Pete Golding ate dog that game, not spying a running quarterback in overtime when that's the only thing he. You know what? Have a sip.
I'm gonna have a sip. A sip of Grandpa's old cough medicine
before I launch into a tirade.
Too tired. You know. I think Maverick had a lot to say on that too. He did. I miss old Maverick. Miss the old guy.
May you rest in peace.
He's not gone forever.
Gone but never forgotten.
Maverick. It's a stellar dude.
Yeah, he'll be back.
He will.
This rankings grind my gears. I'll take it for him. This grinds my gears when I saw this. Like, TCU is not number 2. Just because you lose the championship game doesn't mean you're number 2. Doesn't mean you're number 2.
Yeah, well, that's the end of the season, though. Look forward to spring, summer camp, and then going into the next season. I think it's only 249 days away now, so counting down.
Cheers to Bama basketball. Ranked number 4 again.
There we go. That's a good topic. Hey, everybody watching out there, now we can be happy for right now until we play at Arkansas.
That's worried about that game.
Tomorrow night.
Yep. That's going to be a good game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think we're probably the best team in the conference right now.
Yeah.
Um,
I know Arkansas has had a little bit of shakeups that kind of could go in our favor.
Tennessee might give us some trouble.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be a tough game. LSU is a good team.
Man,
Missouri's a good team.
Tennessee is baller.
Yeah.
Auburn kind of fell apart in basketball.
They beat Georgia the other day, didn't they?
But Georgia's not that good,
They
right?
did.
What's Georgia's record? Like 11-3?
Yeah, but they 11-4, but a lot of teams start out like that because
Yeah.
like Mississippi State, for example, was 11-0.
They're
But-
12-3, yeah.
They were playing whenever they played us, they were 11-0.
Oh, yeah.
But their schedule was like Norfolk
They,
State and
Who
then
did
another.
Mississippi State beat Saturday? They beat somebody Saturday. Hang on, I can take this travesty off.
Figure it out for you. I'm trying to.
See you, Steve. Thanks for joining us, Steve. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah. Yeah, Tennessee's going to be a problem. But we're going to be a problem for some people too. So the length of this team and the depth is really, really something.
This is the first time I felt truly confident, not really nervous against the big boys. In the SEC.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I agree.
It's the first time we're the team to beat. So
I'm telling you, Mark Sears is a beast.
he's an animal.
Great.
That
pick.
guy,
Great
might be
pickup.
the most important player on the team. And Q had 12 points in that game against Kentucky. Man, he came off the bench with 12
he
points.
sure did.
Mhm.
Is Sears just playing point, didn't he?
Yeah, he's starting point, and then Q will spell him, and then they'll have some rotations where they're on the floor at the same time together.
Mm.
Also, I had no idea that Miller's dad played for Alabama in football.
Yeah,
I
I don't
didn't know
remember him. I don't think he was a.
He was like
I don't think he
91.
was like a box office guy, but I don't remember him. But I did know that he played there,
Was he a 90s guy, I'm guessing?
Yeah, like 91, I think. is what
like
they
early
said.
90s, 91, 92, something like that. Yeah.
He got him a natty. It's all good.
Oh, he got him. Well, I don't know. The Natty was 92, so if he was gone before 92, he can get one. But if he was around that, I don't remember him. I remember a lot of the players off that 92 team. That was the first year I lived here, but I don't remember his name. So that's why I'm thinking he was like 91 because I don't know many names from the 91 squad.
Hmm.
I mean, y'all were just twinkles in your parents' eye, but still.
One way to put it.
It's the PG way to put it.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah, I could put it a different way, but my kids listen to this, so I'm not going to.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, I like your hat, Fonz. I just noticed it was a Penguins hat. Nice hat.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I was still on the TV now, but they were down 3-0 early and I scored 5 unanswered. So I'm feeling a little
nice.
better than I
There
was.
we go.
Is Malkin back? Wasn't he hurt?
He tore his ACL last year. We've had him all year this year. And
Okay, so he's
stayed
played every
healthy.
game this year?
Yeah, he looks good. He's 36, but
Yeah, y'all are
he's
doing
still
pretty.
skating. So
20.
And Crosby's going this year, right? He's still around, right?
Yep. He's still moving.
Yeah.
They're getting old though. It's like watching your kids grow up.
I know, dude. Seeing Crosby still try to grow a beard.
It's getting better. He had a mustache for 2 months and he finally shaved it. But
That's the only reason he's still playing. He's just trying to get the playoff beard. Once he finally gets the beard, he'll hang him up.
it's over. It's over. Means the cup's on the way.
Sorry, we took a hockey detour there for. I don't know if either one of you pay attention to hockey, Murph or
I do.
Mark.
Panthers suck this season.
Hey, the Flyers suck. Show some respect.
Yeah.
I don't watch
That they
much
do.
hockey. I don't. But what about that? What about Tampa Bay? What about the Lightning? What about them?
Now,
Are
they're
they-
still going pretty strong.
Yeah, they're
Out
good.
of nowhere.
Yeah,
I'm like, why does Tampa Bay have a dynasty in the works? Like Tampa Bay? Come on.
Stevie Eiserman,
Stevie Eisenman.
masterclass GM, just built that team to be a wagon. Boy, are they.
Obliterated us in the playoff.
Now he's back at home in Detroit.
Is that where Eiserman is now? Is he the GM for the Red Wings?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I knew he left Tampa, but I didn't know that he was back with the Red Wings. I do have a Red Wings jersey.
I think he just wanted a new challenge after winning 2 more rings down there.
Yeah, I guess I'll go back to Detroit. So, what does we're at Arkansas tomorrow night. Back to basketball. Sorry,
we are
back on the basketball lane, but we're at Arkansas tomorrow night, right? Sorry, I had to step away for a second to unlock the door. But
correct, we are.
Arkansas coming off a road loss to Auburn. That's gonna be a tough. That's gonna be a tough game tomorrow night in Arkansas. It's a tough place to play.
I would, if I was a betting man, I would probably go with Arkansas in this game. I know I doesn't mean that I don't think that. Doesn't mean I don't think we can beat them. I just think they're going to have a lot of fire in that. We're coming off a big win against Kentucky this weekend. Don't worry. I'm hopeful. I hope we win. I really do. We do play Arkansas again at the end of the season at home. So I expect us, if we lose this game, I fully expect us to rally it up and win the next one.
Yeah, I know we got a loss coming. We got a tough stretch coming up. We got LSU as well. I know LSU's lost a couple in a row, but LSU's pretty good. They've had just a couple of tough losses. Although they lost by 13 to A&M, but they were terrible that night. Terrible.
They beat Arkansas too.
Oh yeah, they did beat Arkansas, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit of hope in there.
Yeah, I mean they're a good squad. Missouri's a good squad too. So
God, man,
we're kind of
SEC's a bloodbath.
SEC's a gauntlet now. You know,
bloodbath, man.
Never thought I'd see the day.
And we'd be led by a true freshman.
Yeah.
Although Sears he'd get some votes for team MVP.
Wasn't that the reason why we added Missouri to the SEC? Because at that time their basketball team and maybe their baseball team, I think it was their basketball team, was like top 10, top 15 every year, something like that.
They have a pretty
football team.
I mean, recently, their football team was good at the time. They made 2 SEC championship games.
Yeah, that's almost like TCU making it to the championship game last night because Bama.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Bama boat raced them, like baptized them two years in a row. I was at one of those games. Blake Sims and was it Coker the next year we beat Missouri? Was it the Derrick Henry year?
I want to say 15 was Florida, wasn't it?
Yes,
15 was
15
Florida.
So was it 13 and 14? We beat Missouri
Or Missouri made it in 12 because it was the kick 6 year, and Auburn needed to win that game to go to the national title. And Missouri fought and still lost, but it was like 55 to like 48.
That's the Trey Mason game where he ran for like 350 yards. In that game.
Yeah, and I can't remember the name of the Missouri quarterback, but he was scrambling everywhere. It was an incredible game.
Was it pre-Drew Lock? It wasn't Drew Lock, was it?
No, it was pre-Drew.
Oh, yeah, it was way pre-Drew Lock. His name was like
Drew
something
Lock
Franklin.
Yeah. We beat Missouri, 2 years in a row? Didn't we beat them?
It sounded, or
just one of those years. Maybe they made it 2 years. They made it 13 and 14, and we beat them in 14, I guess. Okay. Maybe I'm getting my history crossed up.
Let's see.
Because we didn't make it in 13. We made it in 14, made it in 15.
Yeah, they lost to Auburn in 13 and lost to us in 14.
Yeah, I knew that because I was at the year we beat them in 14. I was at that game. That was the Blake Sims year. I was at that game.
Mm-hmm.
I got a hilarious picture of my dad at that game. My dad in my family is notorious for the doomsday reactions. Like if the other team gains a yard, like my dad would just have these notorious meltdowns, and we'd have to calm him down. Like, calm down, Dad. It's okay. The other team has athletes too. Occasionally they'll gain some yards. They might even make some plays. Just understand it's coming. My dad it would always just be the doomsday scenario, no matter what. And so that Missouri game, we dusted them in that game, 40-something to. What was the score of that game? Do you have it in front of you, Fonz? I know we beat them
42-13.
42-13. I mean, just scrubbed it. And I got a picture of my dad after Missouri got like a first down on one play, and we were up by like 4 touchdowns, and his head is just like buried in his hands, and his hands are down on his knees. I mean, he's just like, it's just like the worst thing ever. And I remember taking this picture of him because it was so funny to me that he was so upset about that. And we were up like there was no way we were losing that game. That was Amari Cooper, Blake Sims year. I mean, there was no way we were losing that game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's been a running joke in my family about my dad's overreactions to some plays sometimes. Let me see if I can find that picture. But yeah, he's notoriously overreacts, and so we've had to be like, "Oh, it's okay, Dad. You know, that's the other team has a Heisman winner." So, all right, I'm gonna try to show it. There, I took that picture. That's my dad right there. We were up by like 21 or 24 at that moment. Bless his heart. But he was.
Is that the OG Georgia Dome?
Yeah, that's the Georgia Dome. That's 2014. Yeah, my poor dad. He just was so distraught. Man. You know, and then this picture shows up in the group text all the time too.
Poor Pete.
Peter Golding. Yeah. Learn how to spot a QB.
Well,
that's all you gotta do.
What do y'all think about the rest of the things go as far as basketball? What other kind of sports? What are our expectations for the end of season in basketball?
I mean, this team's really good.
Yeah.
They're still hanging in there defensively.
We're in a great spot to make, get into the tournament with a pretty good seed. We'll see how the SEC tournament goes as well. But, we're definitely going to contend for the conference. And, I think we could be a 2 seed pretty easily if we do what we should do. I think this is a legitimate top 5 team.
I agree.
So I put our wins at like 25.
That's fair.
That's crazy.
I can see with that.
What do they play? 18 conference games? Is that how many conference games we play? 18?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So we got 15 plus that Oklahoma game. So we got 16 games left in the season.
Hunter, what are you thinking? How many wins do we have by the end of the regular season?
I mean, like the only teams I'm really worried about is like Arkansas, Tennessee. I'm not even really worried about Auburn.
You will when you have to play there.
That's true too.
This team's different though. There's something about this team.
I know.
Even the loss to Gonzaga, we scored 90 points. We just got killed on that pick and roll where that guy would just pull up from the free throw line, stroke, or he would penetrate, get the and one.
Even with Gonzaga, like they just got that 10-point lead and we just couldn't catch up. That was
I mean, if we scored 90 points, we're gonna win. We're gonna win a lot of games if we score 90 points.
Agreed.
It just so happened that we didn't win that one, but this is, man. These guys get after it. They got short memories, which I like. They don't hang their head. They don't slouch after turnovers. They're really working hard on the turnovers. If we don't turn the ball over, it's going to be hard to beat this team if we don't turn the ball over.
That's my one thing. I'll go ahead and give my prediction. To be optimistic, I want to get over 20. I think that's very possible to get 7 more wins with what we have left. What I think we'll get is probably 23, 24 wins.
I think we'll go 12-4 the rest of the way.
That's fair.
25-6 is where that lands us.
Fair.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Parker. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
You're interrupting me.
I think this team is good enough to get to the Final Four, but as I always have a big but in there for that. Turnovers have been a problem throughout the season. Now, if we can get that under control, I understand with how fast-paced a lot of this is now, turnovers are bound to happen. But if we can keep them to a minimum and consistently shoot outside, out on the field, behind the three-point line and whatnot, or just regular, if we can shoot over 55%, I think we'll be great.
If we shoot over 55%, we're going to be holding the trophy at the end of the year. That'd be absurd.
Yeah. What I'm saying is this. Maybe it was more of a free throw. We got to give you at least 75% from free throw. So what are we averaging? What are we averaging right now per percentage from the field? Was it like 35, 40?
I'm not sure. I have to look that up.
Let's see.
That was probably a big number to start off at 55%. Sorry. More realistic, I'll say if we can shoot consistently from 40 to 45. How about that?
We're shooting at 44.4% right now.
Okay.
That's fair.
And 34.9 from three, which is actually very good.
Yeah. We stay in the mid 30s all year. If we can stay in the mid 30s, mid to upper 30s on 3-point percentage all year, you're right. We're going to be holding a trophy. Because as many as we shoot. Yeah, the free throws. That's my biggest word.
70.9 right now.
We've got to get to at least 75.
Got to get at least 75, 78, 79, even 80 if you're going to compete. Because we're going to spend a lot of time at the free throw line. The way Sears attacks the basket, the way this team attacks the basket, I think we're going to spend a lot of time at the free throw line. I think.
For sure.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I think we're going to spend a lot of time at the free throw line. But I really like the makeup of the squad. I like the camaraderie they show. And I like the hustle. You know, they don't lag. They get back. For the most part, they've had a couple lag plays, but for the most part, they are a defensive nightmare for people. I don't see us playing a lot of zone. We haven't played a lot of zone this year. We're just manning teams up. I mean, Bediako was a beast against Toshibwe in that Kentucky game because Toshibwe had nothing for him. Like, that was crazy.
Bediako's good. Clowney's good, too. I mean, this team, like –
Clowney's underrated. He's not getting enough hype.
No.
Clowney's not getting enough hype in my mind. He got a sweet stroke from out there, man. When they kicked that ball out to him and he just catch and put that thing up, that sucker had a sweet rotation. Silk, man. That's all it was. Whoosh. Yeah,
I'm optimistic this team could go pretty far. Trying not to get my hopes up because previous years we've looked really good too and lost like 5 or 6 straight. But this team's just different.
But we gotta wait till February.
We hadn't had the depth of this squad, and we ain't had a straight up G like Miller before. I mean, Colin Sexton was a baller, but the depth wasn't there. We were like 6 deep on that team. But this team, Nate got 10 guys playing every game. You got 10 guys in a rotation, and there's no Darius Miles. Miles is out. Namari Burnett's out. When those guys come back, they'll be 12 deep. Because what's his name is back from injury now, number 10. Can't think of his name. Hodge or something? Darius Hodge? Welch. You know, there's a couple guys that are getting some minutes now that probably wouldn't be getting many if Miles and Burnett were healthy. And then he said Burnett would be back in about 2.5 weeks from that wrist injury. Like, I mean, if we can stay relatively healthy, like Brandon Miller's a straight up G, man. That guy's a beast.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
He's a lottery pick.
Yes. Even Nate said a couple games ago in his press conference, he said, you know, he's going to be in the NBA next year or so.
Easy.
I'm like, he knows. He's not stupid.
Yeah. Props to Nate Oates. Even if this isn't our year, like, Nate Oates is chipping away at it. He's, you know.
Yes, I agree with you. He's building something here. And it's a different way you have to do it now with the one and dones. You know, in the transfer portal, it's a different kind of recruiting. It's a different kind of team building. But he's got something going here. They need to lock him up now. I'm talking like 10 at 100. Like 10 at – you write down the number, Nate. Like, we're locking this thing down. And we're going to build you an arena. And you ain't going nowhere, son. Because I know Texas is going to call him. When Kentucky bounces Calipari in a year or two, Kentucky's going to call him. Like, start at 10 at 100 and go from there.
I'd be doing it. I'd be writing a blank check to Nate Oates.
I'm like, Nate, do the words Bryce Harper mean anything to you? That's the kind of numbers I'm talking here. Like, come on.
37 million a year until you're 86. I mean, honestly though, we
That's
just
how
need
serious
to
I
pay
am.
man, because like, I mean, he could go anywhere he wants at this point,
Anywhere he wants.
but he'd love to stay here. I'm sure. There's
Yeah, I
just
think his
as many
family loves it
resources.
here, and as long as his wife is happy here, like
Uh-huh.
he's not going anywhere.
No.
And I think his family likes it here because they came from Buffalo. So like we got him right at the right time. We pulled him out of 2 feet of snow and dropped him at the beach.
Before that, he was a high school coach in Detroit
In
or
Michigan.
something. Yeah. So
The cool story is that when he was at that high school back then, he attended some camp that Nick Saban ran, some coaches camp that Nick Saban ran.
oh really?
And he was just a pissy little high school coach back then. Fast forward, 12 years, 15 years, whatever it was, and here he is.
Coaching right beside him.
Small world.
Yeah. My buddy at work, Mike, the LSU fan, he hates Nate Oates. Because after that championship game, when he told him to get out of here after the SEC championship game that we hung on and beat LSU, and that last little shot trickled off the rim, and we won by a point. Like Nate was, get out of here. You could read him telling him, get out of here. He was going, which I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And Mike's like, yeah, he's a douchebag, man. I hate that dude, man. Asshole, and all that stuff. He was just hammering him. So anyway.
Did you guys discuss their coach at all? Or their previous coach?
Will Wade, I guess his name was.
Yeah, Will Wade.
Oh, Wilster. I should have kept him. Whatever, man. Who cares? The guy's whatever. He calls Nate Oates a douchebag, but I'm like, yeah, whatever. Nate's winning, son.
That's right.
But I think that coach they got's pretty good. The guy from Murray State. I mean, he seems to be okay. They've lost 2 in a row, I know, but we'll see. We'll see if he's any good. So, anyway, you guys got anything else you want to talk about?
I feel like I gotta address the elephant in the room to the Steelers fans. I'm sorry the Dolphins are going to the playoffs. It probably should be the Steelers. There's nobody low.
We should be there. Jalen Waddle. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
We would get crushed. I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, Jeff.
Yes.
But
We've seen
Jalen
this
Waddle
movie before.
threw his head back like he got falcon punched across the field.
Even Tyreek Hill
And
was
that's dude's fingers.
Young
were
Jubitus
grabbing his jersey.
did pull some theatrics, and they bought it. They ate it up.
Big time.
yeah.
The fact Miami won that game 11-6.
Oh, it was so bad. It was probably one of the worst offensive games I've ever seen.
That poor quarterback for the Dolphins they played
I know.
Skylar Thompson.
is
Oh,
hot
that's like-
garbage.
Bless your heart. Just
Oh,
you
God.
probably had no idea he was going to play.
And the Jets losing to them is even worse.
Oh,
Is even worse performance.
yeah. And then the Texans finally winning a game to lose their number 1 pick.
But it may not cost them because the Bears aren't going to take
Yeah,
Bryce.
they could trade. Yeah,
The Bears are either going to trade out or they're going to take Will Anderson. I think they're going to take Will Anderson at 1.
Yeah, they
And
don't.
then
I
the
think
Texans will have Bryce at 2. I think it's going to work out for him. Too bad for Bryce. Bryce was celebrating.
Yeah.
And then once we found out that the Bears had the number 1 pick now, they weren't going to take a quarterback, he was like, ah.
I think the Bears are still gonna commit to Fields, though. They'll give him at least 1 more year.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was great this year.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if somebody's
Donovan
that needs a quarterback is going to trade up, like Indianapolis, the Falcons, some of these
I think
teams that
Indy
need a
has-
quarterback. I wonder if what they're gonna offer the Bears. Because if I'm the Bears, I'm like, who wants the number 1 pick? Got it right here. Who wants it? What are you gonna give me?
Bryce, you can come to the Dolphins, please.
Yeah, Tua needs to retire. That needs to be into the Tua. Like, it's a
That's,
quality of life now.
I keep
That's
getting
what-
these news stories like, "Oh, Tua's still undecided." Like, bro, just
No,
just
it's
stop.
been decided. The
Yeah.
universe is saying it is
Stop.
decided.
Yes,
It is decided. Yes, but the Steelers, they showed promise at the end of the year, which is fool's gold. because now Tomlin's going to keep Matt Canada, and he's not going to make any changes because he's going to say, see, we were turning around. We beat all these average teams at the end of the year and all these crap bad quarterbacks at the end of the year, but we're getting better, so we're going to run it back with all the same deal. And the same thing's going to happen next year. And they're going to be crap, and then Tomlin's going to close strong, and we're going to rinse repeat, or he's going to back into the playoffs and get blown out, and then we're going to rinse repeat. This is like year 4 of this.
Yeah, hasn't gotten any better.
No.
Really hasn't gotten any worse either. Yeah. So,
and props to Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett still can't throw consistently enough, I think, to be a real threat in the NFL. Now, will he get better? Probably. He probably will. But he did show some moxie in some of those late game situations. But now we're picking 17th in the drafts. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, you were dog crap for 3.5 quarters in those games. Just finish it out so we can get a better draft pick.
We will potentially trade up, I think.
They've got the capital to trade up for the left tackle from Ohio State. That's where I want us to go.
That's who they should target.
Harris Johnson is where they need to go. They need to move up and do whatever they got to do to draft that guy. That's my opinion, which is worth nothing, but that's what I think they need to do.
Agreed.
Because they fleeced the Bears for that second-round pick. I mean, plus the Dolphins don't have a pick. They forfeited their pick, so that second-round pick is now one place better. So it's really 31. It's really the last pick of the first round now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they fleeced the Bears for that pick. Congrats. Now, what they do with it, I don't know, but Harris Johnson is the name. That's the guy that needs to be playing left tackle next year.
Agreed.
For whoever the OC is, because we need a new OC, but that's a whole nother episode. See, I'm going to get me all wound up.
Catch Jeff on Thursday night on Steelers Talk, Sports Radio.
Ranting Steelers, because that's for 3 years now. That's what this team has done. Had the Dolphins not somehow won that game, the Steelers would be playing the Bills in Buffalo on Saturday or Sunday. And, last time we played in Buffalo, I think it was like 38-3.
Wasn't good.
Really want that again?
We're playing better.
Really want that?
Playoff Tomlin shows up unprepared for the last 4 playoff games he's been in. So why would I think any different this year with a rookie quarterback playing in a foot of snow in Buffalo? Like, it spared us having to watch us get slaughtered. Sorry, Murph, you're gonna have to watch the Dolphins get steamrolled on Sunday.
Dolphins gonna be breaking out the wheelchairs for who's ever left on our team.
Whoever's left. Yeah. Seriously.
That's really what it is.
It's a shame. I mean, Kansas City is going to be tough to beat anyway. The Bengals are going to be tough to beat anyway. And the AFC is a gauntlet now.
Yeah.
Like, it's the AFC North is a gauntlet too. Baltimore, Cincinnati. Cincinnati is like the only threat to Kansas City, in my opinion. Although the Bills did beat Kansas City this year, I think.
I'm pulling for the Eagles.
I mean, no, I hate the Eagles, but they're loaded with Bama players. So I'm
that's my thing. Like,
it would be the worst thing. Yeah.
Can't stand them stinking Eagles, but they're loaded with Bama players. So,
I mean, I'd like to see
some
the
of my favorites.
Niners make a run.
Niners, yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know how interesting the AFC is going to be, honestly. So it's probably going to be the Bills. So
that's why we'll see. That's why the Bengals are going to be tough. Burrow's an Iceman, dude. That guy just playoff Burrow's it's tough to bet against that guy. Even though he lost the Super Bowl, but I mean the dude's a beast.
Can't argue the results.
No, you cannot.
Agreed.
You cannot. So anyway, good show tonight, fellas. Anybody got anything else to add before we call it a night? Usually when I can tell when the show's over is when my glass is getting empty.
Yeah. I'm running on E2. So
yeah. I enjoyed it, fellas. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can catch us anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, any of those places like that. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in on the chat. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in on the comments, for tuning in later if you stumble across us later. I'm Jeff. He's Parker. He's Fonzi. He's Murph. We are the Couchcasters Podcast. Till next time, roll tide.
Roll tide.